What's up, everybody? So today we're reacting to Inside the Army's new 6.8mm next-gen squad weapons. This one is by Task and Purpose. I'll leave a link down below to the original video. Basically, this is about the new weapon programs that will be implemented in the US. Very excited to see what technology is implemented because the current weapon, the M16, has been in place for like 50 years or something like that. Both the US and the UK both need a rehaul with their weapons, and I'm very intrigued to see what the categories and what kind of weapons are actually going to be involved, and especially the technology, because the technology has improved dramatically. And although weapons don't need that much technology improvement, it does help a lot. But before we get started, as per usual, I want to give a huge shout out to all these people. These are my members. If it wasn't for these guys, I wouldn't be making videos like this every single day. So guys, thank you for supporting the channel. Really do appreciate it. I really do. Still yet to get that win in Warzone. Don't know why, but we're still yet to get the win. I'm hoping it happens live on Twitch at some point. That'd be really cool. If you remember and you're not part of Discord yet, link down below. And if you're not a member and you fancy a bit of a chinwag anyway, link down below. Go and join the Discord. Down there, you'll also find a link to all my socials, Instagram, my website, the Discord, my merchandise. Go and check that out. And most importantly, my Twitch channel. I'm going to be streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for about 2 to 3 hours. Very excited to get gaming with you guys. I will be playing with a bunch of people who are subscribed or in the Discord channel, so don't forget to do all that good stuff. Yeah, I'll stop rambling on. Let me pull up this video. I'm very intrigued to see what's going on with these new weapons. Let me just shimmy over to the side so you can see me big head. And let's listen to it.
Let's dive into the details of what we know so far with the 3 future weapons programs that will eventually replace the 5.56 M16 family of weapons.
Before we get started, let's have a quick brief look at these weapons. This looks like a thick boy down here, doesn't it? This Textron looks like a thick boy. The SIG looks nice, but you know, a lot of people don't like SIGs for some reason. I think they're cool. I've only shot one once a long time ago. So, you know, there's so many different variants and stuff, it doesn't really, you know, apply. General Dynamics, that looks like a thick boy as well, and the magazine's on the back, kind of like the SA-80 right there. Very intriguing, and it looks like, if you notice, where the casing comes out, is pretty far back as well. Is that where the casing comes out? That's very strange. I'd like to see this Textron one with not cut open. Let's get into it.
We found some new, incredible animations from the inner workings of the Textron bid, created from their rifle patent plants. I did all the research and consolidated it here for you. I'm Chris Cappy, former Army veteran, and this is Task and Gear. Here's the big takeaway. The new round will be slightly heavier, fly at a faster velocity, and if all goes according to plan, it will allow troops to engage the enemy at greater distances with more lethality.
Let's just go back a second. Let me look at these rounds. Is this like plastic? I wonder if that's metal or plastic. That's very strange. Look at that. Also, his t-shirt is really cool. It's a very cool t-shirt. But these rounds are so, you know, look at this white one. I've never seen anything like that before. That's so strange.
Will be slightly heavier, fly at a faster velocity, and if all goes according to plan, it will allow troops to engage the enemy at greater distances with more lethality. Of the original companies in the running for the bid, only 3 remain: Sauer, General Dynamics, and Textron. The losers who were tossed out of the running in September are FN America and PCP Tactical. Better luck next time in 60 years when the military is looking for a new next
60
generation
years.
weapon.
Wow.
Each one of the bids is made up of 3 different weapon systems. We have a replacement for the M16 carbine, a replacement for the M249 SAW, and last but not least, a replacement for the 7.62 firing M240 Lima. And that's the artist formerly known as the M240 Bravo if you come from my era. The first 2 are 6.8mm firing, and the last is a 338 Norma Magnum, which is a step up from the 7.62. First up is the Textron bid. I do like a lot of things about this bid. It weighs less, the ammo weighs less. Beautiful looking piece of weaponry. There are some high speed advances here.
Let's just say this looks like a very complicated weapon. I would not want to clean this. There's so many moving parts. Also, then plastic. Is it plastic? I think it's plastic casing. Is that prone to stoppages? So my big thing is it not only is it accurate and lethal, But first and foremost, can you maintain it and make sure that it's in working order for a long period of time when you're on the ground? Because at the end of the day, if you get stoppages, if it's melted plastic and it jams up your weapon, is that the weapon done for unless you take it to an armory? I've got a lot of questions about that.
With an electric mechanical trigger, the spent casing is brought down and ejected while the fresh round is brought up, opposed to a conventional firearm where the round is brought directly from the magazine into the chamber and then ejected straight from there. This appears to have been added as a few extra steps, and I would be curious about the rate of fire with this. Does that extra movement slow it down at all? Let's put this side by side with what we're replacing. The old M16. Look at how different this works on the inside. It looks like an alien compared to the M16. The charging handle is moved from its usual position to the front of the weapon. You have to move the bolt to the rear by doing this instead of this. I think I'll need a 6-hour briefing on how to operate this thing. I'm sure the Army will come up with one. In the firing mechanism, we have a lot more moving parts than usual going on within the guts of the weapon. The reason for complex systems probably has something to do with the caseless telescoped ammo that it fires. So I don't want to be a grandpa here saying, look at this weapon, it's too damn complicated. But it looks complicated.
It does look
Cleaning
complicated.
That thing looks like it'd be an absolute nightmare.
It does.
Guys, Q-tips boxes only come in 1,000, and it looks like I'd need a solid 15,000 Q-tips to clean the sand out of that thing.
I like this guy.
To be fair, complexity can sometimes equal better. Other times, it means Joe will be able to destroy the thing very quickly by dropping it because it's too delicate of a flower for him to be trampling on.
Right.
I've seen Joe destroy just about everything you can think of with the back of a striker ramp. Kevlars, weapons, crushed. Not that having a less complicating firing mechanism would save it from being crushed by the ramp of a striker, so that might be a bad analogy. With this bid, we're using caseless telescope plastic rounds. That'll save you about 40% in ammo weight, but I'm heavily skeptical about the reliability of the plastic ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
The new design, they claim, will not fold under heat, but that's yet to be seen.
You say that, but when you get a lot of rounds down, you never know. Like, things heat up very quickly. The lighter the ammunition, really cool. At the end of the day, if it helps lads, on the ground with weight, that's always an issue at the end of the day. But you don't want to compromise a weapon that could easily break and easily get stoppage. It's plastic. It is plastic. I don't know. I think I'm more old-fashioned with this one. I'd like to keep it simple and use metal. Plus the amount of plastic that, not to be in that sense, but it's not good for the environment, all that plastic. And not that metal is either, but you can recycle them, use cases, the traditional ones. So I'm not sure about this.
Carbine is similar to the M16 family in terms of the look and feel of the weapon. The problem I'm having though is getting past the strange bulkiness. When I first looked at the rifle, I couldn't understand why it looked bulky. But it's because there's a lot going on the inside as seen in the animation. Just because something lighter doesn't mean it's easier to use though. First thing I can think of is how annoying it would be to mount your PEC 15, your optics, your flashlight, all your cool guy gear on there, and then you try to sit in an MRAP or a striker. Good luck fitting in a vehicle or easily getting yourself unstuck from every wire in there while you trip over yourself. Then you get out only to get back in a minute later. Hurry up and wait. Before we tap the Sig Sauer bid, I want everyone to keep in mind that this is technically not an official replacement for the 5.56 M16, not yet anyway. The plan here is for the Army to procure 100,000 of the new weapon system from one of these 3 prototypes by 2022, and they're going to be seeing how it works before getting married to it. The Army's last relationship with the weapon was like 60 years long, so you can understand that it's difficult for them to do a change like that. Even though I know they've been seeing other weapons on the side for years. I'm looking at you, FN Scar, you home wrecker. Why are they doing this? In 2010, Congress initiated an investigation of the performance.
I say I shot a SIG. I did not shoot a SIG. I shot a SCAR a long time ago. I did shoot a SIG handgun, I'm pretty sure. I might be talking rubbish, guys. It was a long time ago. I've slept a lot since then.
Performance of the M4, its pros, its cons, and if they had a reason to replace it. A summary of the report says that while there may have been concerns raised by some of the M4's reliability and lethality, studies suggest that the M4 is performing well and is viewed favorably by the users. However, the Army is undertaking the individual carbine competition to conduct an open competition among small arms manufacturers for follow-up weapons. The small arms capability-based assessment found that many of the problems facing the M4 were solved by changing to a different improved ammo type, better optics, and more reliable magazines. It's true that many feed issues with the M4 can be traced to unreliable magazines. However, even though the M4 has a lot of love for it among all branches, the military is looking to replace it, have overmatch capabilities going into the future. The weapons development program.
This looks so cool though. Doesn't it look so futuristic? Let's be honest, it looks super futuristic. But again, whether they're reliable or not, sometimes it's just so much easier to keep things simple, you know? But at the end of the day, advancements in technology do help soldiers a lot. So it's it's a constant battle on whether you upgrade to something like this. This looks cool. It looks cool, but in practice, is it different? Also, that if that is where the empty case comes out, is there a dust cover for it? Because you could get all sorts of rubbish in there, couldn't you?
Program will cost $10 million the first year and an estimated $150 million a year after that. The rifles need to be able to deliver both a high pressure test round loaded 20% higher than normal pressure, and this is so that they can stress the rifle barrel and breech during firing. Apparently, it's said somewhere in the contract to make sure the suppressor looks like a Coke bottle stuck on the end of your rifle too. Thanks, General Dynamics. Before we go into the 6-hour bid, real quick, please remember to subscribe to our channel so we can see each other again. We do rundowns like this every week. Now, let's
make sure you go to this video and give it a like and subscribe to them. It's a really cool video.
go to everyone's favorite bid, Sig Sauer. The M68 from them is the M249 replacement. It's fully auto, belt fed from a 200-round drum. This submission admittedly won my heart. Two things stuck out to me: the reciprocating barrel design and the new optic. The barrel will now move with each shot to balance out the recoil forces. This has pros and cons. The weapon is more...
That is really, really cool. I have not seen that before. That's very impressive. You know, the most similar weapon to this that I've shot is the GPMG, the General Purpose Machine Gun in England, and the recoil is kind of excessive, and you have to kind of make sure that you're really snug in there and you're pushing yourself forward, and it can push your aim off a little bit. So that is so cool. I am very impressed with that.
More accurate, but it has a slower rate of fire. If you ask me, those are actually both positives because you don't need a higher rate of fire if you're putting accurate rounds downrange.
Very true.
Bid at its core...
I'll come back a second so I don't miss anything what you're saying. That's so true. You always see in movies people just getting the rounds down. You don't. It's nice, sharp bursts, accurate bursts. You want to see where you're shooting. So yeah, a slower rate of fire isn't necessarily a bad thing. This guy's correct. He's got some good experience in the field. Yeah, I think that's so cool.
Putting accurate rounds downrange. The bid at its core is about the new advanced ammo and the energy it brings to the table. The proprietary new round is a steel/brass hybrid instead of the plastic-cased ammo that the other companies are bringing to the table. Right. The base of the ammo, where the primary is struck, is made of steel. This allows it to be more reliable with a higher lethality. The energy can be increased dramatically because of the steel base. The rest of the ammo is made of a standard brass, with a clip inside to connect the two. SIG claims the energy is increased by a factor of 50 to 60% while reducing the weight by 20%.
That's all well and good, but how reliable is this clip that's on the inside connecting them two together? Because if you're getting the rounds down, it's hot in there, and one does split open, will that cause a stoppage that... You know, I'm going into worst case scenario here, guys, but my biggest concern is stoppages on the ground. You do not want a stoppage, and if you do, your oppos next to you have to kind of perk up and take on the responsibility of covering you while you figure out that stoppage. So that's my biggest concern with these things, with these new weapons, especially ones that are not trial and tested on the ground extensively. So this is cool in theory, but I wanna make sure, like, you know, I don't want to make sure. I mean, I just hope they're making sure that this isn't something that can be an issue in the future.
The machine gun has for too long been too heavy. Comment below if you think I'm a spaghetti-armed weakling. I'm Italian, I can say that. Now, this new M68 machine gun is 12 pounds, while still reducing the level of recoil closer to an M16. Sig Sauer has not mentioned the recoil on the carbine version, or if it's reliable enough to reduce recoil effectively with the 6.8mm round. Another advantage that this weapon has is the ergonomics are the most similar to all the bids with the M16, which would mean less of a shock to Joe when he picks it up from his supply sergeant for the first time. We all know Joe. He would pick up the bullpup rifle and not know which way to point the barrel for at least a few years. The new optic from Sig Sauer that comes along with these weapons have some really impressive capabilities. Up to 1,200 meters out with the 338 machine gun, you can first laze the target and the system will put the first round on target after that. The military has held the position that they would not replace their current weapons until there was a significant enough leap in technology to justify the massive cost of replacing all the weapons. I think that these bids are getting closer and closer to that point. Sig Sauer worked up a replacement for the M240 as well. The number one feature of the replacement is the 338 round. And I guess that they figured it wasn't fair to up the firepower of the 5.56 to 6.8 and then not replace the 7.62 with an upped 338, which falls somewhere between the 7.62 and the 50 cal. This prototype, while firing a larger round, still only weighs 19 pounds. This is a very exciting update. The energy on target is similar to a 50 cal. Last but not least is a General Dynamics bid. New 6.8 millimeter next.
Wait, before we get into the last one, I feel like I'm already won over with the SIG. That is some really, really cool technology. The way I see it is the first one, I forgot the name of it, Tech something or other, the super futuristic one, it looks cool, but there's so much of a leap between what's going on now to that I feel like it's kind of a worry. Whereas this one, there's a leap, but it's in a similar direction to what you would feel it should go in. It's not too dissimilar to what they've got right now. So I'm so convinced with that last one, the SIG. So convinced.
Bid. New 6.8 millimeter next generation squad weapon, or NGSW, not to be confused with NSFW, which my coworkers are constantly telling me to stop looking at. What I do on my lunch hour is my own business. It's significantly different than the others. They're going for a bullpup design with their weapon, and I know that there's a lot of hate for the European bullpup design, especially because word on the street is the British and everyone else who fields the bullpup do not like the awkward reload because the magazine is behind the pistol grip in the rear, which makes reloading while laying down a hassle. Seriously, I have to have the magazine stuck up in my armpit. We're gonna have a bunch of
So it is a hassle, but I don't think it's that bad. You can get used to it pretty easy, but it is a struggle. It's not something that a lot of people do complain about. It's not something that, I feel is necessary. I feel like we could have got a better weapon than the SA-80 that, is more reliable and is ergonomically better, if I'm honest with you. But, it's a good weapon still.
Troops with stinky magazines. Is that really what you want? I'll just do what I always do and spray it with Axe body spray, the old G.I. Joe shower. With this design, it means a longer barrel while still having a shorter length in overall for the rifle, because firing mechanism has been moved to the rear of the rifle near the buttstock, right where you place your face, which isn't fun to be firing the rounds when they're going off right next to your face with this different design. They're going with an entirely polymer case for their ammo as opposed to the steel base or telescoped ammo. So each developer is coming to the plate with a different style of ammo entirely. The polymer ammo is developed separately from General Dynamics in a partnership with True Velocity Ammo. The ammo looks great. It saves weight. It absolutely is revolutionary. This makes the decision even harder because all the weapons have their pros and their cons. Some save more weight in ammo or save more weight with the rifle. Since the Army usually plays a relatively safe game, I would be surprised if they went with something that is so untested as the caseless ammo, but I'm sure they'll be tempted to go with it because of the huge reduction in weight. Which development bid do you like the best? Which design do you think will win out with the all-seeing, all-knowing Army top brass? We'll have to wait and see which old skull and bones friend they decide to throw the procurement money to. I'm Chris Cappy. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe if you like the video, or if you don't like our content, subscribe so you can put a video on in the background while you're doing something much better.
Okay, let me get rid of this real quick. So I do have a few things to say. I'm sold on that SIG. I think it's just way better. The improvements are in the right direction in my opinion. They're not too crazy. It didn't go into that last weapon as much as the SIG, I don't think. So I think maybe there was a bit of a bias there. But that last weapon again, I think if you're going to replace weapons, they need to be replaced with something that's not too different. Otherwise, it's going to take a lot of training. A lot of training means a lot of financial pressure, because they've got to take that time away from training something that they could be improving their skills with, like some CQB or something, and then putting it into Bobby Basic weapon training again. And I don't think that last one would be a good idea, because they would have to retrain people with the magazine behind the grip and all of they're so different, the first one and the last one. that I just think it would be a wise choice to go with a SIG. It just seems like an all-round good improvement while not being too far astray and too far trying to be futuristic. But again, he did say weight is an issue, and weight is an issue. It's really important to keep as much weight off as possible. So this video, when did this video come out? It came out in December. I wonder if they've already chosen yet. But my heart's with the SIG. I'm not gonna lie. If we know anything different, leave it in the comments down below, because this is a really cool subject, and it's a really cool video that I think would be cool to do more in the future of, like learning more about actual weapons that military use, maybe go into like Canadian weapons, and then maybe go to like Spanish weapons, all these different types. So yeah, very, very impressed with that. Also, a great overall video, great quality, so make sure you go over there and give him a like. But yeah, we're going to end it there, guys. As per usual, again, shout out to my members. Amazing. I love you all so much. Let's try and get that win in Warzone. Jeez, it's been so long. We need that win. Link down below to all the usual stuff. The original video for this, Discord, Instagram, my website, merchandise, and my Twitch. Make sure you go to the Twitch 3 days a week. I'm going to be streaming live there. So yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Take it easy. Goodbye.